I lived in Bangkok for 5 years and I loved it. The rhythm of the city, the food, the temples, the way life pulsed through every alley, every street vendor, every tuk-tuk ride. Thailand taught me so much about Asia, or at least, I thought it did. But then I went to the Philippines, and everything I thought I knew got turned upside down. This isn't one of those which country is better videos. This is about something deeper. Because what I experienced in the Philippines wasn't just a surprise. It was a reset. A complete emotional and cultural reset. Let me take you back. I first booked a flight to Manila thinking I'd stay a week. Island hop a bit, taste the food, take some photos. You know, the usual Southeast Asia backpacker routine. But 48 hours in, I found myself in tears. Not because of sadness, not even from joy, but from something I can only describe as being seen. You see, in Bangkok, life is efficient, polite, structured. People are friendly, but private. There's a rhythm, a social boundary that you learn to respect. In the Philippines, that boundary doesn't exist. From the moment I landed, I was wrapped in a warmth I couldn't explain. Airport staff calling me Kuya, my Grab driver telling me about his daughter like we'd known each other for years. A family I'd never met offering me dinner in their home when I asked for directions. And I mean really offering, not the polite kind, the we've already set a plate for you kind. It didn't feel like tourism. It felt like coming home to a family I never knew I had. I remember one moment so clearly. I was on a ferry heading to Bohol. There was an old lady next to me, maybe in her 70s. She saw I was alone and tired. She gently tapped my arm, handed me a piece of pan de sal and said, "Eat first before you get sick," just like a grandmother would. She didn't know my name, she didn't ask for anything, she just cared. And that tiny act of kindness hit me harder than any monument or landmark ever could. Because in Thailand I learned how to admire a culture. In the Philippines, I learned how to be embraced by one. I thought I understood Asia. I thought I'd seen its warmth, its colors, its soul. But I hadn't felt the full humanity of it. Not until I stood barefoot in a barangay at sunset, eating grilled fish with my hands, watching kids laugh with the kind of freedom you can't buy. Let's talk about that actually, the laughter. Filipino laughter is different. It's not polite, it's not shy. It's full body, room shaking, absolutely contagious joy. And it's everywhere. From nurses joking on 12-hour shifts, to fishermen singing while hauling nets, to security guards making puns while checking your bags. I met people with hard lives, but who still cracked jokes like it was the most natural thing in the world. That kind of joy? It's defiant. It's revolutionary. It says you can take away comfort, but not connection. You can challenge our resilience, but not our spirit. I didn't expect that. In Bangkok, you marvel at the temples. In the Philippines, you become part of the prayer. And maybe that's what shocked me the most. Not the hospitality, which everyone talks about, but the depth of it. It's not about manners. It's not about service. It's about inclusion. They don't just welcome you, they adopt you. One night in Siquijor, I got caught in the rain. No signal, no ride, no plan. A family invited me under their roof without a second thought. We ate tinola, sat on plastic chairs and laughed about ghosts and aswang legends under a leaky roof. They didn't ask where I was from, they didn't ask what I did. They only asked, "Are you hungry?" That question, so simple, so honest, says everything about the Philippines. It doesn't care about your passport, it cares about your presence. Let's talk food, by the way. I used to think I knew Southeast Asian cuisine, pad thai, tom yum, pho, nasi goreng, all iconic. But Filipino food, it's a different story. It's comfort, it's memory, it's heart, adobo that melts in your mouth, lechon that makes you question every roast pig you've ever eaten, sinigang that punches you in the face and hugs you at the same time. But it's not just the flavors, it's how it's shared. No one eats alone, no one gets left out. Even if all they have is canned sardines and rice, they'll still say, "Kain tayo," eat with us, be one of us. That's Asia, but with arms wide open. I remember calling a friend back in Bangkok and saying, "This country isn't flashy, but it feels more alive than anywhere I've been." And she said, "It's probably just the island vibes." But it wasn't. It wasn't about the beaches. Though yes, they're incredible. It wasn't about the cost of living or the language or the colonial history. It was about the people. It was about the way they looked at you like you mattered. Even when they had nothing to gain. It was about the resilience of a nation that's been through war, storms, poverty, and still chooses joy, still chooses hospitality, still chooses you. That's the kind of energy you can't fake. That's the kind of spirit that changes you. I've traveled Asia, I've seen its elegance, its modernity, its grit, but only in the Philippines did I feel something spiritual, a quiet power in the ordinary moments, washing dishes with a tita after dinner, singing karaoke on a cracked sidewalk, sitting silently on a banca at sunrise with nothing but waves and birds and the smell of fried garlic from the shore. In Bangkok, I learned about beauty. In the Philippines, I learned about belonging. And that shocked me. I went there for a vacation. I left with a heart full of strangers I now call family. So to anyone watching this, if you've been to Asia but not the Philippines, you haven't seen the full story. You haven't felt the embrace of a culture that sees your heart before your face. You haven't been called ate or kuya by someone who just met you and somehow meant it with their whole chest. You haven't eaten mangoes so sweet you'll cry, or been in traffic so bad you'll laugh, or heard a Christmas song in September and actually felt joy instead of confusion. You haven't known the Philippines, and once you do, there's no going back. Because once you've been loved by a people like that, once you've belonged without asking, every other place feels just a little bit colder. I loved Bangkok, but the Philippines, it loved me back. And that's a kind of shock you never forget.